Welcome to the Bitter Upper Lip. My name is Tyler. Thank you very much for joining me. So tonight we're going to close out our locals only series on Piedmont Brewing and Kitchen. And this is going to be an interesting one. This is their, I wish I had Jessie's Girl, Blackberry and Tangerine Gose. So fun take on the Rick Springfield song, and good Lord, take a look at that label. If there was ever a definition of ratitude, that would be it, or tubular. So no date on the can on this, but this is a limited release, and the brewery does very limited cannings of their beer. This beer is probably 3 weeks old at most. Comes in an ABV of 4%, and IBUs are listed at 12. So just as a quick aside, if you don't know what a Gose is, a Gose is a very, very old beer style from Germany, specifically the Saxony region of Germany. There are records dating back to 1,000 years, how long they've been making that style of beer. And a Gose is considered, I guess, if you will, kind of a cousin to a Berliner Weiss. It's a more wheat-forward beer. I would say usually a mixture of wheat and barley, with wheat being more than barley. It's unfiltered, and it's also traditionally seasoned with coriander and salt, of all things. And typically, unlike other German beers where it's just straight up yeast, it goes through what's called spontaneous fermentation, which is like lactic fermentation. So if you've ever had a Gose, that's why it has that sour taste to it. Interesting beer in the fact that it was extremely popular for centuries, leading up to about World War II. Then after World War II, if you know anything about history, Iron Curtain fell right through Germany, and Saxony sits in the east side of Germany, actually almost directly due south of Berlin. So communists weren't too privy on keeping a lot of traditional styles alive. So after World War II, this beer went pretty much dormant. Like you never even really heard about it much. And then until about, I'd say around 2010 or so, a lot of beer enthusiasts started trying to rediscover the style. I know Sam Calagione talked about playing around with a bit. I never even heard of Goses until about 2011 or so, when Jim Cook, who is the founder of Sam Adams, actually went to Germany and decided, I've got the clout and the money. I'm going to bring this style back. So the first Gose I saw was Samuel Adams, I think it was called Verloren, I believe. But it was in about a small little limited bottle. It was like their limited bottle series. It had an owl on it. And again, I literally saw the label. I had, the words Gose came across. I had no idea what a Gose was. But picked it up, tried it, loved it, and it's crazy to think that in that short time how Goses and sour beers in general have just skyrocketed, at least over in the States. I know plenty of people that hate every other style of beer, but they love sour. So happy to see that the style is going through a huge renaissance right now. At the very least, how it's jumping the pond, and Americans and a lot of other countries are putting their spin on traditional flavor, and how a lot of German breweries that haven't made the beer in centuries are getting back to it and pulling out old recipes and keeping the style alive. So that's history in a glass, folks. So this one, of course, is obviously not German. We've got blackberries and tangerines in it. Never had this beer before. I'm very excited, though, specifically for the blackberry part. Growing up in North Georgia, ate a lot of wild blackberries, so I'm curious to see how the bitterness of some blackberry might play into with the Gose. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this in a glass and see what it is about. Maybe a little swirl here, assuming it's going to be unfiltered. Traditionally it would be. Okay. So right off the beat, head comes out looking pink. It's like a bubble gum pink. Bubbles are nice and tight. Uh, I'm actually going to say I'm going to do a hearing review. I can hear this beer. Like it's popping and sizzling. It is very alive and active. It almost sounds like a soda. It's popping so much. Don't know how well you can see it with the light here. Absolutely beautiful. Gosh, I'd even say like a almost burgundy purple color. Like it just looks like a berry or just, I don't know, like some mythical creature's blood. Class, like I'm about to toast a vampire. I mean, it is, yeah, I can't see anything through it. It is absolutely murky as hell. Yeah, it just looks like a solid mythical stone in the glass. Wow, it looks great. Let's go ahead and get a whiff on it. Yeah. So, big pop of citrus coming right off the nose. I mean, it just smells like someone just took a bunch of tangerine peels, raked their nails over it, and just did this in front of my face like John Cena. Getting a bit of a kind of a salinity smell to it almost, kind of like ocean water, but not in a bad way. It's a very, very clean smell, but there is a certain kind of minerally scent coming in through. It smells very, very juicy. Definitely getting some of that blackberry smell from it. A little bit like if you eat like blackberry jam. Getting kind of a tinge of that funk, probably coming from the lactic fermentation going on there. It's a very pleasant sour smell. Almost a spicy smell to it as well. I don't want to say it's like a pepper smell because it's not that. It's not a bitter, but there is this very kind of juicy, spicy thing going on there a little bit. Just, boy, that is a siren's call in nose form, let me tell you. All right, let's quit flapping our gums and get some lips on it. Cheers. Damn, Jesse. Whew. All right. So, right out of the get go, front of the tongue, huge, huge, just, you saw my eyes, just wave of very clean sourness hitting, rolling into that tangerine taste. And it's gone. Middle of the tongue, felt more of the blackberry flavor. Actually, I'm still getting a little of the blackberry flavor. Little salt on the back end. Extremely light mouthfeel with very, very tight carbonation. It's like I feel it just zigging past my tongue, and it goes very quickly. There's almost this deceptive quality of the finish. It's like just when I think, oh, it's gone, I wait a second. It's almost like the heat of my mouth brings some flavors back to the forefront because now I'm tasting much more of the malt characteristic, very cereal grain. Yeah, it's almost kind of like a bit of a like a French bread character. Not really buttery, but there's a light malty character. I'm guessing that might be the wheat playing into it. Very even nice acidity, even though it's hitting your tongue and it's a wake up call. Feel that nice, refreshing sensation go through the rest of your palate as you're drinking it. Feels great going down the throat. Um, I can't really begin to. That's why I haven't really talked about it. I'm still trying to find the words to describe how juicy this is. If it wasn't for some of that back end malt character that I was getting on the aftertaste, I would almost think that this is some type of just fermented, like fruit hooch flavor. Like it just tastes like just straight fruit juice in a lot of ways. Nice balance of the tangerine and the blackberry flavor. I was really worried that it was going to be kind of this just mash of flavor and become a potentially pleasant but almost an indiscernible fruity character. But I can just as equally taste the tangerine character, which has that nice citrusy note that kind of goes with the salty acidity, and then also some of the blackberry note, which adds, I think, the big juice factor and a little bit of bitterness on the back too. Um, it might be in there, but I'm not really picking up a ton of a coriander flavor. I don't want to say that's a placebo effect that I know that this is a Gose that has to taste like coriander, but I'm honestly not really tasting, if it is in there, it's not strong and it's getting absolutely drop kicked by the tangerine, the salt, and the blackberry flavors too. Very nice acidity. It is interesting. I'm trying to analyze right now how much of the flavor is just straight up from the tangerine and blackberry juicy flavor, or is it the actual acidity from the fermentation from the lactic going on? I don't know. Maybe that's a good thing that I can't really discern which one or the other. Man, extremely refreshing. 4%. There's, of course, no alcohol presence whatsoever. That's fantastic. Um, yeah, what would I want that? I mean, by itself, it's delicious. I could definitely see this being a extreme hot weather beer. Fun side note: they actually will hand out Goses to runners during the Boston Marathon, so it's German Gatorade in some respects. So much to that style, I could definitely see this being a quelching staving of heat stroke if need be. Man, I don't know. I mean, I can honestly see myself eating this with like a salad if there was like a real nice, like a Greek salad of some kind. Got some nuts, some feta cheese in it, maybe some onions. The sweetness of this beer may be complementing some of the sour notes going on, and of course the acidity cutting through maybe some of the fat of the nuts and the feta. Oh man, meat dish wise, and some kind of pork dish, I'd say. Something light, like I wouldn't want something grilled. Maybe something like pan seared or sauteed or even broiled, probably. I don't think I'd want anything charred because I wouldn't want a char character or the bitterness of that going against that. So, yeah, absolutely fantastic beer. Not really getting anything new much on the nose since it's warmed up a bit. Still has that very straight up juicy smell, a little of a salinity character to it. I will say though that I am to admit what I just said. I'm getting a little bit more of the malt on the smell now that it's warmed up. Yeah, but absolutely fantastic beer. Again, this is a limited release. I think they just kind of Piedmont makes it when they want to make it. But if you're lucky enough and you find yourself in Macon, Georgia at Piedmont, just ask them about it. See if they might have a little secret stash, especially tell them if you're from out of town. So, but yeah, guy, everyone, just tell me what you think. What do you think of Goses? Do you have some favorite Goses of your own? Do you have any questions about this beer? As always, comment section's open forum below. Uh, Leave your thoughts. If you like the video, thumbs up is appreciated. And if you want to keep hearing me flap my gums about beer, then a subscribe is appreciated too. So until next time, everybody, as usual, keep your mind sharp, your heart clean, and your upper lip bitter. We'll see you then.